Hey, what's up everyone? Ryan Arnold, aka Demon Master Reviews here, and I am back doing the second video of my best of the decade. This time going into the 2000s, I mean 2000 to 2009 this time. Obviously the last one was 2010 to 2019 and such. And like I said, there was some revisioning. Obviously, in this one, again, at some point, there may be a change. Maybe in some years will be, again, different again. But I think for the most part, I think the ones that are the best of each year are concrete and such. So, let's get started, shall we? Number 10. Now, this one's kind of a 2-for-1 because technically, by all accounts, these two were kind of recorded at the same time, and I think why not just lump them in? Death and Beyond Magnetic, which were obviously these were recorded at the same time. It's just like this was released in 2011 during the year where they also released Lulu, but we don't talk about that album. But yeah, this came out in 2008. Obviously, this was on Warner Bros. Records. This was just before they made Blackened recordings, which, if you could tell, obviously, if I can show, yep, it's got the Blackened recordings logo. This one too has it. I've said, obviously, if you've seen my deep dive for Metallica, you know I've said that I'm still the same. Like the first 7 are fantastic. You know, This Was Just Your Life, The End of the Line, Broken Beat, and Scar, The Day That Never Comes, which is basically another one ripoff. All Nightmare Long, great. Cyanide's another great one. Unforgiven 3 is great as well. But then, like I said, it takes it a nosedive. You know, Judas Kiss is good. Then it gets Suicide Redemption, which is like, yeah. You know, it should have probably just been an 8-song. If this was an 8-song album, it would have been fantastic. Because those last two just don't really do it for me. But like I said, this is probably the one year. This was 2008. This is probably the one year that I can easily think there might be another album that I think might be better, at least better than these. And I haven't listened to this one yet all the way through. So at some point I will. But I think for now, yes. For the moment, this is definitely my favorite of 2008, and it is number 10 of the 2000s. 9, 8, and 9 are kind of the same because they're from the same band, but going over number 9. And normally sometimes you may think an album like this would definitely get in to the top 10 of the decade for me. In some case, barely or something like that. But knowing it wasn't going to go any higher when it came to those albums, but knowing this was one of my favorites from that year, there's not many I can think of from 2006. And that is Breaking Benjamin's Phobia. Diary of Jane, obviously, this was their big hit. It was on NASCAR 07. Love it. And then eventually later on, it got me into them. Kind of fell out of them for a bit because I didn't care for Dear Agony, which was in 2009. There was another album from that year I'll get to later. But for the most part, this was a great alternative rock / metal album. There's some metal moments, there's some rock moments, alternative rock, basically kind of that Creed, the 3 Days Grace, kind of that style. It's heavy. There's heavy moments here on this album from time to time, but for the most part it's kind of more rock oriented, obviously radio friendly and stuff like that. Songs like obviously Diary of Jane, basically You Take the Breath Right Out of Me. You is another great one. Evil Angel is one of my favorites. Until the End's another great one. Dance with the Devil is fantastic. It's heavy. It's just like, it is a fantastic album front to back, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, this is from 2006, and this is number 9, my 9th favorite of the 2000s. And continuing the Breaking Benjamin route, We Are Not Alone. Obviously, this is from 2004. what can I say? Obviously, this was the last one featuring this guy. Obviously, the other one had Chad. So I can't remember, but this guy's name, this was the original drummer. His name is Jeremy Hummel. Had to pull out the booklet to figure out his name. Jeremy Hummel. This was his last album with the band. So Cold's probably the highlight up here. I like this. Simple Design's another great one. Just so many great stuff. Yes, it's again kind of that alternative rock / alternative metal once again, but a great album. Love it front to back. Fantastic. And that is my number 8. And that's from 2004. Number 7 from 2000. And there's some others. Kind of the early 2000s. And we're kind of, you got the new metal stuff. But emerging out of all of those. And there's probably another one I could probably say that would be a contender for it. But I think right now, this one. Iron Maiden, Brave New World. The reunion with Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith. As you can clearly tell, my original case for it is gone. But as you can see in the corner right here, and then you see in the middle, you see Bruce. They came back to the band after the disaster that is Virtual 11 album. When we get to doing a deep dive for Iron Maiden, we'll talk about it. But yeah, Bruce and Adrian came back, and they were working together on Bruce's solo stuff, which y'all can go and check out. Check out the Bruce Dickinson deep dive I did earlier this year. But for the most part, yeah, Bruce and Adrian returned to the band at this point. And yeah, business was back as usual. So yeah, number 7, my favorite 2000. For now, it's another one that probably will change. But for now, Brave New World, my number 7, and is my favorite from 2000. Next ones are 5 and 6. 5 and 6. I'll just show them. Coheed and Cambria, Good Apollo on Bird Star 4, Part 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness, and No World for Tomorrow. These are back to back. Obviously, this one, Welcome Home. Freaking fantastic. 10 Speed of God's Blood and Burial, another great one. Crossing the Apollo 1, I love that one. The Riding Rider. Wake Up is another great one, kind of a great ballad. The Suffering is great, kind of still has, this is when they were kind of getting into the heavier, the prog rock and the prog metal and stuff. They still had some emo here and there, but they were definitely by this point going into the proggier stuff at this point, especially when you have stuff, the Willing Well off of this one, stuff like this one. This one's number 6, and then number 5, No World for Tomorrow. This one's from 2005. This is 07. God, in another year that had obviously Colors, but I between this and Colors, I prefer this one. This one's kind of from front to back, fantastic. From the Reaping to the title track, the Hound, Feathers Running Free, Mother Superior is probably my all-time favorite Coheed and Cambria song of all time. Gravemakers and Gunslingers is great. Justice and Murder, and then the Incomplete. With this one, freaking fantastic. Love every minute of this one, and this is probably my favorite Coheed album of all time. It's not even close. Fantastic album front to back. Love it. So yeah, this is 5 and 6. 2005, 2007. Next up, number 4. Train of Thought, Dream Theater. this one was going to be an obvious one from 2003. There was some, it really wasn't much when it comes down to it. It was either this or Saint Anger. You know, it's like, yeah, this it wasn't even a contest. As I am fucking the guitar solo on that one. Jesus, like I said, this was still kind of lumped in with those early 2000s when they were, you know, metal bands were pointing out fantastic album after fantastic album. And Dream Theater were no different. This was part of, I think, their third album of the Meta album thing, which was from Metropolis Part 2. And then the previous two, Metropolis Part 2, Seas for Memory, and 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, which unfortunately I'm about to get to. Which unfortunately, I'm about to get to that one. Whoop. That unfortunately didn't make it, unfortunately. But for the most part, there really wasn't much competition for Dream Theater to beat in 2003. Was it? Oh yeah, I forgot Dance to Death was in 2003. But yeah, it was no competition. Dream Theater were gonna freaking win with this one, you know. Going into this, the Stein Soul, which was part of the 12-step suite, Vacant Stream Consciousness, just the heaviest Dream Theater album of all time. Not even close. It is heavy. I can say, I hear some say new metal, but I can also hear thrash in there as well, you know. Obviously because Petrucci was so influenced by Metallica and stuff, so I can understand that this was kind of more Metallica and stuff like that. But yeah, freaking Train of Thought, my favorite. But like I said, I mentioned about 6 Degrees in 2002. That did not win 2002. That's 2003. 2002 album. And number 3 is Agalloch's The Mantle. One that I I do not have in my collection at the current moment. And hopefully soon I will. But The Mantle, my God, it's easily, it's another situation of like the Kaladin Brood one from the previous video, where it's kind of something special about it. It's just one of those albums that's just, you know, it's transcendent. I know Dream Theater, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, but this one was just too special not to ignore and stuff like that. There was other good ones too from 2002. Dude, like I said, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence is one of those. You know, there's just some other good ones that I would instantly think, you know, I could put up on there, you know. I think Opeth might have as well in 2002. I could be wrong. I think it was either Deliverance or Damnation. But this one was just kind of that special album that it had to be on here. It had to be on here and had to represent 2002 in this case. So yeah. One of 2 I do not own, unfortunately. But The Mantle, great album. It's number 3. Number 2, I think this one's going to probably be obvious. I think these top 2 are going to probably be obvious. 2009. I think for me, that's Great Misdirect. I mean, there is only 3 albums from 2009 that I can say without a shadow of doubt are head and shoulders above her. Maybe 4. But I think instantly Dream Theater's Black Clouds and Silver Linings. I instantly think Mastodon's Crack the Sky. And I instantly think this one. This one was, and it wasn't even close. I knew once I immediately thought 2009, I immediately thought The Great Misdirect from Between the Buried and Me. It wasn't even close in this case. It just wasn't, it was not close at all. That's what they did on Colors. They took Colors and they gave it freaking steroids. And with everything, the songs are relatively long. There's not many long songs, not many short songs on here. There's only 6 songs on here. There's, you know, Mirrors, which kind of just goes into Obfuscation. You know, those 2 kind of blend together, and that's kind of 12 minutes. And you get Disease, Injury, Madness. And you get Fossil Genera, Beat from Cloud Mountain, freaking fantastic. And then Desert Song, the 5-minute ballad, which then goes into I think their longest song ever, Swim to the Moon. Just front to back, the album it's perfect. It's perfect. It's tactical. It's proggy. A lot of time signatures, a lot of blah, just a lot of just all over the board. Paul Wagner and Dusty Warren, chef's kiss. This, everybody on this album, just, oh my fucking god, from Tommy to Paul Wagner to Dusty to, I think, Richardson on the drums, just, I forgot the bass player's name. Apologies, I can't remember his goddamn name. I can't remember his damn name or something like that. I think it's Dan or something like that. I think it'll be Dan. I think it might be Dan. But Jesus, everything from the vocals, both the harsh and the clean from Tommy, the guitar work, even on This Season to Mattress, I think the guitar harmonies between Paul and Dusty, my fucking god, it's so fucking good. It's just like, goddamn, the whole album is just holy fucking shit. Just hearing that just opened my eyes to this whole world of prog, and just hearing that, taking it all in was like, holy fucking shit. This is insane. Like, fucking insane how freaking great this album is. But you'd be wondering, what, giving so many praise, why number two? Yeah, there's so many. That, in 2009, those three, along with, say, Breaking Benjamin, I think Creed's comeback album, I think Rammstein's freaking Liebesbrau. There's so many good stuff from there. The one time I cared about a Five Finger Death Punch album with War's the Answer from them, the one time I only give a damn about them, that and the first album. Those first two Five Finger Death Punch albums are the only good ones. They can't hold a candle to 2001. So, 2001. You guys already know what number one is. Do I have to say the album's name again? Do I? Because number one is The World Needs a Hero. I'm just kidding, guys. But it is a 2001 album. I looked it up. Yeah, it's a 2001 album. But it's not that. It's obvious. Lateralis from Tool. Obviously, as you probably know. God damn, I even have a vinyl of it. Look, right there. 2001. God. What more can I say? Excluding this, you either have any album I could have thought from 2001, even the joke one, yes, World Needs a Hero from Megadeth. And yeah, that came out in 2001, believe it or not. I'm surprised that came out in 2001. But no, that was a joke. And they played well into the joke, pretty much. But taking this aside, and Megadeth, you also have Blackwater Park from Opeth. You have Toxicity from System of a Down, Iowa from Slipknot. You also have Down to Earth from Ozzy Osbourne. You have The Sinister Urge from Rob Zombie. Some of those I actually own. I own Iowa, if I can even find it. Oh, here. Speaking of, okay. Speaking of, here's Sinister Urge right there. Pull it out right there. It was literally right there. Iowa's right there too. I realized I had those at the front, but those are an obvious answer when you think of that whole year. It's arguably, of this decade, of this century, probably the best year. Just rock and metal, just some of those albums. Any one of those albums could have easily won Album of the Year 2001, and I probably would have won Album of the Decade. Okay, maybe not Ozzy. Maybe not Ozzy, though. But still, any of those other albums could have easily destroyed the rest of these. But it's Tool. It's 100% Tool. Everything about this, they took what they did on Anima and they perfected it. They perfected the interludes are freaking great. Going into it, freaking The Grudge, and then going into The Patient, and then you're going into Schism, one of their most iconic songs of all time. Obviously, you freaking go into Parabola, Ticks and Leeches, the title track, the trilogy tracks, which was his Disposition, Reflection, and Triad. Just everything about it is perfect. It is the quintessential prog. If you're going to have some of the list of the most essential prog albums, this has to be up on that list. It has to. This is perfect front to back. What more can I say about Tool and Lateralus? There's no more I can say. I have a retrospective about Tool. Go watch that. And maybe at some point a panel discussion about 2001, maybe. Would y'all be interested in that? Let me know. Would you be interested in any of the other years I mentioned about that? But yes, the best of the decade and the best of 2001. Tool's Lateralus. Not much more I can say. But yeah, that is my top 10 best of the 2000s video. Video number two of my best of the decade series. If y'all enjoyed this, click the like button or the dislike button. Comment below what your thoughts are on all of these. What are your favorites from each year, and put them up in what would be the best of each year. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. This has been my favorite albums of the 2000s. I will see y'all later, and as always, keep things metal.